everybody. Raul here with Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of chatting with Dr. Staten Medsker out of the great Pacific Northwest, known to many rock stars as the person that keeps them rocking as well. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Dr. Medsker is also an author. He has the book, How to Adjust Yourself and Avoid Seeing a Chiropractor, which seems a little counterintuitive, seeing that he is a chiropractor. So this is going to be an interesting conversation. So welcome to Bass Musician Magazine, Dr. Medsker.
Hey, what's happening, Raul? And I am the Rockin' Doc. And that's on the hip, the hop, the happening. I'm talking about the flip, the flop, and the crackling. There ain't no doubt I'm gonna jam while I bam and lay my loving hands on the next needy band. So, Raul, bring your questions from your dome, and the Rockin' Doc is going to throw you back a bone.
Okay, so Dr. Staten, among the key things, many people realize we did a piece, pretty comprehensive piece, back in September 21 on pain management. And most of the time, because musicians are humans too, we have bodies, we will get ourselves into a state where we already have pain, and then we find ourselves having to try to cope with it in some way or another. And unfortunately, very commonly when it comes to Western medicine, they'll go take a pill and don't bother me anymore. And so one of the important things in learning to self-manage, and I believe this is a big part of the premises behind your book, is what can we do as musicians that are going to spend time on stage with heavy equipment on our shoulders, lugging our gear, being on our feet for prolonged amounts of time? How can we help ourselves to stay in the best shape?
Well, that's a great question, Raul. And, that's why I wrote my book, How to Adjust Yourself and Avoid Seeing a Chiropractor. I'm the chiropractor to over 600 famous bands, from Def Leppard to Journey to Weird Al, Tool, Korn. I've adjusted them over and over and over again, and I got tired of fixing them up, and then they go out on tour and they ruin all my work. So I created this new exercise program for them to do on the tour bus, and it's called the SET program. Okay. And it addresses the three most common problems. They're pandemics in our society that all of us, including musicians, have to deal with. And they are the upper cross syndrome with the forward head posture and the rolled shoulders. It's the posterior pelvic tilt, which I call the flat butt syndrome, all right, from sitting too long and your hamstrings getting short, and the short leg syndrome, which is from 3,000 falls for the average teenager. You add all of those things up together, and we all have pain, complications, and problems in our structure. Thomas Edison said, "The doctor of the future will not give medicine, but will instruct the patient in the care of the human frame of the body." And that's what causes pain for all of us. And most of us never grew up with any kind of body work, all right? And so by the time we're in our 20s and 30s, we've been lugging our gear left and right. We've been sleeping in vans and awkward positions. We're, practicing for hours and hours, hunched over our equipment. And then on top of that, we've got to stand up and perform with all of this heavy equipment on us as well, jumping up and down and throwing our bodies around. It's no wonder we all have, especially as musicians, a ton of pain and pain syndromes that we need to work on. In my book, it addresses each of those major causes of pain, those three that I just talked about. There's an easy way to fix those things, and it's really simple. Instead of going to, most people go to the chiropractor, the physical therapist, or the osteopath, and they get some body work done, the massage therapist, but it's temporary, and it doesn't really correct it because you never corrected the structure of the frame. You were crooked, and you got a little bit of this, which felt good, but it never straightened you to here. And so you stay in this little realm of, I'm okay, I feel a little better. I hurt again, I pushed it too hard on stage. Oh, I feel a little better. I got some treatment. And it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Okay? You got to correct it like braces on teeth. You got to be able to take that body, structurally correct it back to center and balance. And then you're not a bent nail. You don't want to hammer the bent nail. And that's what causes pain. So if we can fix those problems, and in my book, How to Adjust Yourself and Avoid Seeing a Chiropractor, it's so key. It's in here. It tells you exactly how to fix it. And it's as simple as this. You don't spend $180 a visit with your head in a harness at a physical therapist or a chiropractic office and with a weight system and pulley 3 times a week for 9 months. It's $800 a month. Do you have that kind of money or time? No, nobody does. So what do? You buy a simple pool noodle, my friends. This is my famous rock and roll. All right? It's the rock and roll pool noodle. And all you do, it's so simple, is you take it and lay down on your bed, on your mattress, or in the hotel room, or on the tour bus, and you put it down here below the big bump, like that, and you lay on it, and bring your head back into an extension all the way for up to 15 minutes a night. It's that simple. Anybody can do it. And you will fix. The average bass player has 2 inches of forward head posture from looking down all the time. Okay, 2 inches. That's 50 millimeters. If you just use my rock and roll 15 minutes a night, you will move your head back over your body 5 millimeters a month.
Wow.
That's braces on teeth. That's structural correction. It'll take a little time, but it's a simple little maneuver that'll help bring your body back into upright so that when you're playing and you're looking over your work, you're jamming and moving like free, pain-free, and full of expression of all of those talented juices that you have going as a bass player.
There you go. Well, and it's very interesting you mentioned teeth, because one of the premises that you had pointed out is that from a preventative point of view, comparing chiropractic to dentistry, where it's widely accepted for people to take their children to the dentist in the interest of prevention and routine checkups and so forth and so forth. And to the contrary, with chiropractic, I think probably one of the most common practices we hear is when the patient is acute, they've been in a car accident, they are, at their wits' end because so many of the conventional things aren't helping. And so, but by then they're so far down the road, it would be equivalent to the dental patient not going to the dentist for 25 years and then showing up and going, hey, what can you do for me?
Yeah, Raul, it's definitely no doubt. We need to take care and address these issues immediately with the body. I mean, look at our healthcare system, right? What is it? The first priority of healthcare in our society is when you fall down, 3,000 falls for the average teenager, all right? When you fall down as a kid, what is that first instant, oh, I'm going to treat you and take care of you? What is it? Get up! Yeah. Buck it up! There's no blood. There's no bone broken. Get up off there. Brush yourself off. Do it again. Go on. Get back out there.
Yeah.
And hit it. Right? That's our first level of healthcare. And you have that smash, 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 smash for decades. And isn't no wonder 80% of the population has some sort of back pain by the time they're 28, 30 years old. Mm-hmm. All right? And that's why. You get those imbalances in the structure, and they modify. You get them into a athletic program at school where they load it, hammer that bent nail, and compensate even more, and then you put them in a desk job and sit there, right? How horrible is that we do in our society? That's why my book addresses those 3 problems. those three main problems: computer neck, flat butt, and short leg. So we got to address those problems, get those things fixed. And I just contacted Governor Inslee of Washington and the superintendent of the school districts to announce and bring in to the public my SET program. SET stands for Stretch, Exercise, and Traction. It's a simple program. It only takes 5 minutes a day. And it structurally corrects those three imbalances of the body. You do that first as a preliminary corrective exercise program until you get your short leg balanced and you get your body back up right where it needs to be. Then, once you're stable and corrected, go hit the P90X. Yeah. Go hit the weight training. Yeah. Go hit the yoga and the running, and get that impact in, because you're not going to hammer a bent nail and make it more crooked. And actually be fine-tuned and be a machine and make the body work the way it's supposed to. So we're going to be branching that out. I also hooked up with Shark Tank, and we've got an infomercial, 28-minute infomercial that we're going to be filming here this year, and we're going to put that SET program into my wonderful little product called the Rockin' Box. And the Rockin' Box, you got the rock and roll, and you got the reset block, and you got the Rockin' Blocks that are some pelvic blocks. It's a package deal that will bring you all the products that you need in order to utilize the SET program and do structural correction on your own. And with that kind of program, you only need to go check in with, I don't care, somebody who knows how to do leg checks. That's it. Lay face down on your stomach and have somebody measure your legs. You can have your mother do it, your brother, your sister, your enemy, NASA, I don't care. Get somebody who knows how to check a leg length and just measure that to see if there's an imbalance in there. If there is, do my SET program, and it will correct 2 to 4 millimeters a month on that and balance you out so you're ready to hold that base. You're ready to load that body. You're ready to jump up and down on stage, and it's not going to wear you out and hammer the bent nail.
Gotcha. It's interesting that you mentioned load, because on two areas, one with our school kids, it seems like their backpacks are somewhere in the realm of like 30 and 40 pounds. And a lot of these kids are just about half the size of their backpack full of books. And so there's going to be tremendous off-center. But when we look at the musicians, and especially basses, in comparison to guitars, the weight distribution, and it comes down to physics, where if you put a lot of force on one narrow spot, you're going to have a lot more, forces on it. Whereas if you can distribute the force, it's a lot better. So talk to us a little about that. I see you have your bass at hand.
That's right. Yeah. So what we want to do is you want to make sure you don't want to, the older you get, the higher it gets. If you see someone, right, on some of the bass players, and pretty soon they're up here and they're playing like this. But, there's a balance point. And this balance point that you want is right here at your stomach level where your belt is. And so you want the center of the bass at that point, right there, at the center. And then the rest is your tipping point here as to what it's going to do with the level of your hand, because you don't want it too low down here, because then you're reaching all the way under to try to grab and hit the strings and the notes this way. You definitely want it up, because if you keep it down here, you're going to get carpal tunnel syndrome.
Gotcha.
Okay? You're going to tweak your wrist and your shoulder down too far. But if you bring it up here like this, you're going to have a lot better opportunity to stay on top of it and play. So you have a much better chance of playing easier if it's a little bit of angled up at about 45 degrees with that. Now they used to make this belt that they had. It was called the bass brace back in the 80s, 90s. I remember seeing this thing. Remember that thing? Which was really cool, because it had an attachment to your belt, and then you would have to deform your base and put in a peg at the bottom of your base in order for it to attach to that. And nowadays, they have a double strap, which is super cool. It's a double strap for the base. It attaches simply right into here. You don't have to deform your base. The back end attaches here, and it wraps around both shoulders down equally and distributes that weight equally. Now, I highly recommend that brace for everybody that's out there. You know, it may not look pretty on stage, but you know what? It's going to save your life by distributing that weight better.
Gotcha. Well, and especially when you look at bases that are extended range and you start getting up in greater weight, because again, your classic 4-string, you may be able to get it down to 7-8 pounds. But when you start getting into 7 and more strings, there's a lot more wood and a lot more neck. So right. That balance is another essential thing. Since you mentioned, again, the belt is an interesting thing. I've seen the double strap concept. I particularly also like wider straps because, again, distributing your forces over more surface. So
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. I know a lot of times young players will just pick a regular guitar. I call it a guitar strap because it's okay for a guitar, but with a bass, I like to go 4 inches at least to get some better distribution there. Also with posture, because that is something that plagues, I think, us in the Northwestern Hemisphere. A lot of it due to computer time and study time, hunched over things. What other, other than being aware of it, because that's a big part of it. If you notice when you're slouching or you're, sitting in a couch all slumped down, what other things could we be doing to help us with our posture?
Yeah, so you have 2 basic postures as a player. You got your practice posture and you got your performance posture. And I've kind of gone back and forth with this. I'm a guitar player more, but I've played bass on a few of my songs on my albums. And there's the practice posture where you should be sitting down and resting the bass on your knee, on your lap. Mm-hmm. And that way you have a freedom that weight isn't on your body the whole time. And you can lean and hunch over a little bit and perform around your neck, that sort of thing, and do just fine. But nobody should be practicing longer than 20 minutes to an hour at a time without taking a break and doing something to counterbalance that force. Yes, you hunched a little. Yes, you curled a little. So counter that force with a simple stretch. So, okay, if you stretch, if you work an 8-hour day and you work an hour, that's an hour of work. You work another hour, that's 2 hours of work. And you work another hour, that's 3 hours of work of compress, compress, compress. Worse, worse, worse. Okay? And by the end of the day, it feels like you had 8 hours of work on top of your head. Change it up. Add a simple stretch every hour on the hour. And it's so simple to do. I don't care if you get one of those therapy balls that you lay backwards on, but wherever position you were in, do the opposite position of a stretch backwards. Open it up. Go open, get it back, lay on your back, lay on the floor, lay on your bed, lay on your mattress, lay on the edge of your couch. Do something that opens your body up and gets it backwards. Go into a doorway, a door frame, put your hands up on there, step through, always look up. The older we get, the closer to God we get. So start looking up at Him, all right? In every stretch you do, because our heads are down so much, so far all the way, get your head back and up every time you do a stretch, no matter what it is. I don't care if your hands are here, or down low here. Your head should always be back in full extension to take the stress off of your neck and dissipate that force of the hour. So if you play bass for an hour and then you dissipate that force that you put into your body and you start again, it's a fresh start. You don't have all of that compensation and binding and muscle fatigue in there. And then you play bass for another hour, and then you do another stretch and you dissipate all of that force that was in your body and get that out of there. And then you go back and play another, and by the time you're done, it feels like you played for an hour because you dissipated everything, even though you've been 8 hours, 4 hours practicing and a 3-hour show on top of that. You're ready to go again the next day, no problem.
Gotcha. Well, and you are located in the Pacific Northwest. And again, it sounds like you already have a very busy clientele. But if somebody wants to maybe see you or find out about your book or kind of get in touch with all these wonderful things that you're talking about, where should they look?
So I've been very blessed. I'm also the #1 Christian rock artist in Seattle for 8 years. I just recorded my last album in February. We released it. It's called Rockin' Doc and the Backbones. And like I said, I've been the chiropractor to over 600 famous bands. So they all came up, and 25 of them, from Foreigner to Air Supply to Queensryche, Heart, Santana, they all came up and did cameos on my album for me.
Nice.
So it turned out really good. And every song is the new band, and I'm the guitar player throughout the whole thing and sing backup on it. So this is out, Rockin' Doc and the Backbones, and you can get that on my website or on Reverb Nation or on across all streaming platforms. You can get my book, which is How to Adjust Yourself and Avoid Seeing a Chiropractor, and that is available as bestseller on Amazon. Or you can go to my website, and that's drstatenmedsker.com. DrStaten Medsker, Medsker, drstatenmedsker.com, also known as Rockin' Doc.
Well, Rockin' Doc, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to share this information. I'm sure there's many people that will find it helpful, so make sure you check out the website, the book, the album, all kinds of fun stuff. Folks, you've seen him here, Dr. Staten Medsker on Bass Musician Magazine.
Thank you so much, Raul. It's been my pleasure. Live well and rock on.